guys, welcome back to the WODdoc Project365, episode 90. Out here at Champion Physical Therapy and Performance with Mike Reinold, former head PT of Boston Red Sox. This guy, for you guys that don't know him, you have to get on his page. He has one of the foremost, blogs that I've ever seen. Now his phone is going off, but no, he's got one of the best blogs I've ever seen and one of my inspirations to me ever blogging ever. This guy is a fountain of knowledge. If you haven't seen it, log on to his page. What is it? MikeReinold.com.
Yeah, but easy.
MikeReinold.com. So when I finally got the opportunity to meet this guy, we were at Northeast Regions and finally got to work together, our medical staff there. And after he played a little joke on me, we got to know each other and somehow hooked up, and now we're here today. One of the questions I asked him, because he's like the foremost expert on overhead motion since he's a baseball team, right? And I said, how is it that you would be beneficial towards the overhead athlete since CrossFitters themselves are always overhead? And that's where we're at right now, right? And just so to give you an update, I gave Mike the update, is we already went through simple plane mechanics. So we broke down multi-plane mechanics. We went through stability and mobility of those single plane mechanics, sagittal, coronal, transverse, and then we kind of went from there. So here's where we're at with Mike.
Yeah, something I should give your viewers, I guess, a little update on you. When I first met Tim, he explained to me this project, and I said, "Wow, that's ambitious. It sounds awesome." I didn't think he would do it. This is impressive. So we're on day 90. So congrats to Tim, and thanks everybody for watching Tim, because this is a pretty ambitious project. So good work.
Thank you, my man.
All right, so overhead, enhancing stability overhead. So oftentimes I get a lot of athletes that come in, CrossFit, just only lifters in general, come in that want to get, maybe they're having difficulty at the overhead position with the squat, maybe the top of a snatch. They're just having trouble with feeling stable in that position.
Right.
So once we get their baseline strength and some of the things that you've been working on in the last few videos, we start to do some drills to try to enhance some overhead stability. So two drills we tend to do. One kind of builds off one another. One is with just some tubing. So we use TheraBand tubing from the company TheraBand, but you can really use anything for this type of exercise. So what we do here is I'll have Tim demonstrate. We get into a half kneel position. I usually just like the half kneel position as it just locks in the lumbopelvic area a little bit tighter there and a little bit more kind of stable position for him. And then what we're going to do, we're going to combine a row with external rotation of the shoulder and then elevate into the overhead position. So why don't you do that for me, Tim, and I'll kind of just walk everybody through it. So it's a row to external rotation, so it's really firing the posterior rotator cuff. The scap muscles, the retractors are really doing a good job just stabilizing, preventing the band from pulling forward. Then he comes up into the overhead position here, and he has to hold this. So now what's happening, there's a force that's pulling his arm forward, and this entire posterior aspect of the shoulder has to stabilize. So his cuff's on fire, his lower trap's on fire, his retractors are on fire, trying to stabilize that scapula. Then he comes back down, and he repeats that process.
So Mike, how many would we do with that?
So it really depends. I usually hold that for a few seconds overhead, because it's not about the strength. You've already developed that. It's about stabilizing up top. So I'll hold it for a few seconds up there. I'll probably get you to about 3 to 5 seconds, and then we might do about 10 reps.
So we should feel burn, but not muscle fatigue, so to speak, right?
Correct.
Not the inability to do it, but muscle fatigue.
Correct. Yeah, we usually just do like one set.
I got you.
One set of 10, 3 to 5 second holds in there.
Awesome.
And once you get good at that and you get nice and strong and you can maintain that position, a lot of people just right there alone say, just like in an overhead squat position, they feel more stable and they have more endurance there.
Right.
Because what happens is that we're such an anterior strength kind of dominant society that we don't have that posterior endurance. So you're doing all these overhead squats and you just start getting tired and you don't have that stability overhead.
Right.
So we build the endurance. When we're looking to be a little bit more functional in terms of dynamic stability, what we'll do is we'll use a kettlebell and we'll do a bottoms-up kettlebell press. Okay, so you want to do left or right hand?
Left hand.
So we'll do left hand. So again, we're in half kneel position. I'm going to get them fairly narrow because again, I want good lumbopelvic control. We're going to get into that bottoms-up position. Okay, so I want them in a fairly neutral position, kind of knuckles up towards the ceiling. You're going to start down by your side, and we're going to slowly lift up overhead into this position. So once he gets up here, I just want him to, again, hold it right there, hold, 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 and then come back down slow. So a couple things I want to point out. One is the plane that he's doing this in. He's not doing it straight plane in front of the body. He's not doing it too far out to the side. He's doing it in what we call the scapular plane. Okay, so it's this functional range kind of where your scapula sits, and he's lifting up at that angle. So do that again for me too. Now at the top here, you can see because we're doing a bottoms-up position for the kettlebell, the weight, the center of the weight of this device is not in your hand. It's actually away from your hand. So the bell wants to fall. Kettlebell wants to fall in random directions, and he has to stabilize that. So you can see that's challenging.
Absolutely, you're right.
So it's a huge grip drill, which is helpful, and you also have to stabilize from that falling down.
Right, so we're stabilizing in multiple planes of motion, and that's why it's such a great build on all the stuff that we've been doing, is because now we're functionally stabilizing in multiple planes of motion, and I think that's great.
Yeah, you do that for a while, and I bet your overhead position is going to feel a ton better.
All right, guys, so that's Mike Reinold, all right, Mike Reinold. Mike Reinold, and that's his tips for overhead stability, and that's what we're going to use as today's prescription. We're going to collect, let's say, 3 sets of 10. Okay, is that too much for you? You think that's too much?
It might be a lot at the beginning. You're going to get tired of that. I'd say start with a set of 10, but really hold that for
1 set of 10.
And
hold on the top for what?
3 to 5 seconds.
3 to 5
really
seconds.
Build from there.
And what about our bottoms up?
So usually with the bottoms up, we'll do that for more sets because it's more of a press.
Okay.
So maybe start with about 2 or 3 sets, and I'd probably go 8 reps.
2, 3 sets, 8 reps.
You're going to get tired with that, but then
right,
build.
guys.
You want to build endurance, so
That's
you
awesome.
build from there.
Great. All right, Mike. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
and thank you for allowing me to come out here, champion physical therapy and performance, guys. Until tomorrow, we are optimizing function to optimize performance.